Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world of darkness, and welcome to Rage Across New York, the werewolf venue, pure tribes only. On today's scene, Kotori is going to fulfill a promise that he told to Chino. Chino came one day saying that he wished that he would know more about who he is and who he descends from. And so Kotori has said, sure, I can help you with that. I know how Ancestry works closely. So he would have asked Chino to come to the Uktena Shrine. And I guess, depending on if Chino wants to talk a little bit before or we start the ritual right away, it's entirely up to him.
Chino's there. He is. He will have prepared himself. However, Kotori told him to prepare himself.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much what Kotori would have asked of you is that you come basically in the Umbra without any clothes.
Okay.
And he would have applied paint over your body, and he has been starting a little something, some fire spirit that is burning, devouring herbs that are making a very strange smoke. He's going to come at you and ask you to hand over your hand, and he will actually tell you, I'm going to bite you until it's bleed.
Chino will arrive naked as instructed, and he'll go and he'll stand where Kotori tells him to stand. And when Kotori looks at him and tells him to present his hand, he will do so without hesitation.
Okay. And as he sank his teeth in your hand, drowning just enough blood, because obviously he's not here to rip off your hand. Or is he? He will he will get away from you, and he will spit the blood into the fire and start to chant and dance around it, asking you to draw ever near through the fire to look into the reflection of your own blood, the reflection of your ancestry that reside within this fire. As he continues to dance, chanting in a maddening rhythm, almost forgetting perhaps that you even exist.
Chino will walk up and he will take a seat at the edge of the fire, almost in it. I mean, literally, he's that close to the point to where he will immediately start to sweat from being so close to the fire. He will kneel down and then sit with his place his hands on his knees with his legs crossed in front of him, and he'll stare into the flames as Kotori has instructed him to do. He'll focus on the center of the fire, and slowly his perceptions will leave him. He will quit hearing Kotori dancing around and the chanting and the smell of the fire, and everything will just kind of leave, and the only thing that'll be left is that golden yellow flame that has transfixed his single-eyed gaze at this point.
Okay. As Kotori consumes the blood, the faces begin to flicker. Faces, images. One of a woman sick in a bedsit in Brooklyn. Isabel flicks to a Garu wounded far from New York. Batista and Isabel running from cradling his corpse and then fleeing. Flickers back, you see land where an eagle holds a serpent in its claws atop a cactus. And in a deep cave, you see a Garu in Glabro form with the wings and a bird with a long beak and horns on its face with a Fomori on a rock altar. And this Garu, the name of Manuel, carves open the chest of the Fomori, and the black blood sprays out to cheering of the great throng. You see this ritual being repeated over and over again. As Katori sees the flickering of... However, when Katori is a sense worm, however, the scent he gets as these rituals continue begin to fill the cave.
Your father stands there as he continues to do his dance around Chino. The urge of a crescent moon. Proud warrior of our tribe. Is there anything that you wish to see or talk about your father? Or do you want me to go further back into the past? Do you want us to run through the blood, where the blood leads?
Chino, staring into the flames, almost mechanically just answers, "Follow the blood till we can follow no more."
Very well, then.
You see a large city surrounded by in a swampy valley, surrounded by pools and mountains. And in the caves beneath the mountains, you see another Garu, a woman, stood at the threshold to the cave, speaking to a black-furred Garu, Shadow Lord, arguing fiercely in a language that Katori probably don't. Does Katori understand Spanish?
Nope. I only speak native.
In fact, no, they'd be talking the Garu tongue during Kreenis. Arguing. She claims there are no blood rites going on, and this black-furred Garu seems to not believe her. But he is with few, and there are many Uktena there. So he leaves. And she walks back into the cave where where deep inside another blood ritual is being performed. Another captive, their heart being ripped out and then cast into a pit of snakes. These visages, these practices continue down generations as you get names of I need a female name.
Mm-hmm.
Female name, Rosa.
Rosa, yeah. Rosa, Philodox, Eduardo, Arun. And Juan, another Theurge. Him once again with the same mark on his face, stylized butterfly with horns, holding a clave and performing blood sacrifices. Have any more specific questions for this vision?
I think that Mr. Chino has a very Arun-centered question.
He does.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he's got. As you say, I got 4 questions. So he wants to know about the symbol, obviously. He also wants to know where the hell this clave is. And then he wants to know what the sacrifices were for, because they seem to have continued through the line. So obviously, therefore, he thinks he's seeing a pattern. So whether the pattern's there or not, that's what he's asking.
And go on, Duncan.
When you ask about the symbol,
Mm-hmm.
the vision clouds somewhat. The answer is not rendered clear. Apart from, in the glimpse, you see a distended maw. No, sorry, not a butterfly, it was a hummingbird. My great apologies.
Okay, say hummingbird with horns. Okay.
A hummingbird with horns.
It's even more
You
metal.
see, once again,
Yeah.
this city in the swamp. Being consumed by a great maw. In the clave, when you ask about the clave, you see the black-furred Garu. It is in a circle around it, and they seem incredibly nervous, afraid to touch it, as you perform what you recognize as a rite of cleansing upon this clave. And before it being cleansed with the cedar, and then washed with pure water before being fed to the spirit lying in the heart of the volcano.
Okay, so the clave was thrown into a volcano?
Yeah.
By a Shadow
Okay.
Lord.
When you ask about the sacrifices, out of the pit at the heart of the city, consuming the city, comes a horned serpent with blood dripping from its jaws. And what's Katori's Uktana law?
Tenor 3.
You will recognize this as the depictions of the side of Uktena that embraces the necessity of just that little bit of worm taint. The
So-
ends justify the means.
So, regular Tenor.
Well, aside the more one that embraces elements of corruption,
Mm-hmm.
in the name of a greater good.
Yes, the greater good of our tribe.
Before, as it comes out of the pit, it is almost gone before some force pulls it back in. And as Uktena slithers, half is pulled back into the pit, you sense a charnel smell coming from it of rotting corpses and old blood.
Do we know what the hummingbird is about? With horns?
Uktena Law 3 will
You-
tell you that Huitzilopochtli was the hummingbird god.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then it leaves us with only one question.
Yep.
And Kotori is going to creep behind Chino, and he's going to whisper, "Do you want to ask the question? Why? Why were you hurt by the cleansing?"
He nods. He's just kind of overwhelmed. To be honest, he's really overwhelmed at this point. So he nods. He's letting Kotori kind of drive this train.
What he sees is, in the fraction of an instant, the moment of the clave being thrust into chests on the altar by figures with the hummingbird mark over and over and over again. Dozens, hundreds of times, flying through in a fraction of a second.
Okay, so wait, what yours?
That's what the vision shows.
Okay, can I make an enigma roll on this one?
You can make an intelligence enigma roll.
3 success, and I don't think creative logic would work here. So 3.
Clearly, when Kotori looks upon the sacrifices,
Mm-hmm.
gets the same sense, the same prickle on the back of his neck that manifests when he uses sense worm to sense worm taint.
Mm.
And as the sacrifices continue, this sense gets stronger. Clearly, this ritual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it holds a significance regarding his spirit heritage.
Yeah, was clearly, intentionally or unintentionally, some kind of corrupting force.
That has
Mm-hmm.
traveled down the bloodline. Wow. That's some serious.
And I think that's your questions.
Yes.
It is.
So at this point, the vision fades, and we return to the umbral reflection of Central Park. The charnel smell disappears. The hairs on the back of Victoria's neck stop pricking.
Are you satisfied by the answer that you got?
Chino is still staring at the flames, and he just he turns his head and he looks at Kotori. He seems almost lost for words. I don't know what any of it means, Patron. Which he doesn't. He has no guru lore. He has guru lore 1, but he has no worm lore. He doesn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
He has no idea what any of that is.
And yeah, Kotori chuckles at that. There are many things that you need to learn still. But you can still see at least the strings attached to your ancestry. It is driven by blood, and through blood it carries its power. Some will say it carries its disease. Others will consider that this can also be used to slay our enemies, which might be the idea that your ancestor follows. Blood runs thick through the sacrifices and the worship that your ancestors shared. Your bloodline have been under the gaze of perhaps a darker aspect of Uktena. An aspect that accepts that sometimes you need to bloody yourself with the blood of your enemy. You better kill it.
So it is my line. We fight the worm by getting to know the worm. So we dance the line.
It is what all our tribe does. Dancing that thin line. Dancing it and drowning ever closer, but not close enough to fall. This is a dangerous game that we all play. A game that you will take part soon. I think that perhaps more closeness to your ancestors and your tradition might do actually some good. As your elder here. I will make sure that when the time is come, you will go to a place that will help you to draw ever closer to your ancestry. We are nothing without the knowledge of our ancestors. They define us. From the mistakes of the past, you renew your view. You are able to make the new steps that need to be taken. I will also need to teach you more about a worm in due time.
It seems that we, as you say, we walked the line, but it seems it to be the way of my people to maybe walk a little bit on one side more than the other. This
perhaps. Perhaps that is true. But all of our tribe are capable of doing such a thing. But yes, you can choose to follow the hummingbird and the way of your people, or make them your own, or choose other paths. You are free, as we all are. But we are defined by our ancestry. This is how we are forged, how we are born.
He nods. Thank you, Patron, for doing this for me.
I always fulfill my promises. I have never yet backed down on my words.
He smiles. And you inspire Tino to do the same.
I intend to inspire you more than with words. I inspire for a reckoning on those who hurt our people.
His single eye kind of goes very thin as he kind of goes hard, and he just nods simply. The firelight kind of catching the tennis scar on his face and deepening it in shadow for a moment.
Come, let us part away. I feel as he lick his gum and his teeth, probably having a reminiscent memory of a certain experience that he felt where he fisted on humid flesh, as there was the way of his ancestor. Come, I have a teeth for blood now.
He smiles and stands and will follow Kotori.
And I guess with that, we can call it a scene. Thank you, player, for playing, ST for STing, and ancestors for being creepy. We will see you next time in the wonderful Chino family tree.
Uktina for life, yo.